2.
Okay, so quick recap then of our game week 9 team, which was our wild card, which a lot of FPL managers did. And I have to say it was a reasonable success. I've seen some teams with over 100 points, and yeah, it would be nice to get that. But we'll start with the positives because there are some negatives, and we'll get to that. Some glaring negative there. But first of all, picking Raya in goal. That's nice. Nice to get a clean sheet from your new keeper on his debut.
Good choice, Tristan.
Trippier clean sheet. I mean, I think we probably had him before. I can't really remember. Maddison was the big one. Really nice to get a massive haul from him, especially on the Monday as well. Final game of the game week. Coming in with 18 points, looked really good. Looks in form. He's been Leicester's best player all season, even when they've struggled. So it looks like they might have turned the corner. We'll see if that continues. But he's he's the main man. He's the linchpin, isn't he? Zaha, okay, 2 points against Chelsea. We weren't expecting much, but now the really good run begins for Palace. Easily the best fixture run I've seen of any team for a while. I think we brought De Bruyne in. We did 2 assists, and then the obvious. Well, okay, let's say Haaland captain. Fine. We did that as most people did, but then Sinistera, our punt, the one that we agonised over last week, was it between him, Martinelli, and Trossard, who goes and bangs in a hat trick against Liverpool under new attacking manager Roberto De Zerbi. So very frustrating there. I don't know if we want to point fingers.
I'd like to point fingers.
Go on then.
Oh, let him. Let him.
I mean, I'm having such an awful time in my own team that I was going to bring Trossard in, but then because you two are so against it, I didn't. And I just really feel like it's not fair because I just feel led down a garden path by the two of you. But I did laugh on Sunday when Sinistera got sent off as well. It couldn't have been more of a weekend of 2 halves for Team TSZ, but both halves were bad.
Yeah, so that's a swing of like 20 points, that decision. I think, to be fair, I think it might have been me that initially suggested Sinistera.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
it very much was. I can't even remember who I mentioned. I just didn't really like Martinelli.
I do recall that Alex then did say, well, he scored 2 goals in internationals.
No, look, I'll take a bit of responsibility. I'm not going to be able to shirk it. I know that. But Tristan did say his name first. But I will say, Tristan, good call on David Raya. I think I deserve a bit of credit for steering us away from Nick Pope. Big shout out to Eddie Howe, by the way, for substituting Trippier off and enabling the clean sheet wipeout from a Newcastle perspective. Excellent stuff from Mr. Howe. But yeah, so Raya looks good. Clean sheet, so I'm happy with that. Look, Sinistera, it's a blow, but I'm one of those. We've got Maddison there, 18 points. Let's not get too greedy. We're in a good spot in the table, my goodness. And it could have been a lot worse. We could have captained someone other than Haaland. And thankfully, we did the obvious and it paid off for us. But as you can see, we've got work to do with this team. We've got a couple of big issues, so let's get straight into them, shall we, Tristan, with the transfers?
Yeah, the other minor issue was we sold Ward for Everson. We wouldn't have played him, but it's just annoying to see him get finished.
And do you know what? I genuinely don't care about Danny Ward. He could keep clean sheets for the rest of the season, every game for the rest of the season. Get out. I've had enough of him.
Okay, so the first time I'm looking at this team, if I'm being totally honest. So
okay.
So first of all, let's just put Sinistera to the side for now. Mitrovic news.
Let's put Andreas in the team there. Because he's got to be in the team as it stands.
Does he?
Yeah, as it stands, unless we're going to make a transfer. We make a transfer.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. I was assuming we would make a transfer.
Yeah.
But I see. Fine. I was just going to say, ignoring the Sinistera thing, I'm just going to update you on Mitrovic.
Okay.
So I think the exact words were, no, not the exact words, but along the lines of he's improving. He still has some work to do. He's definitely going to play the Bournemouth game week 11, or be back for that. But the game against West Ham is in doubt. So he's 50-50 for that. I'd say we start him. We don't sell him if he's back for Bournemouth. because who else are you going to get in the strike? You know, all the value at the moment and all the points are coming from midfield, aren't they? Whereas,
yeah, we kind of need to adapt with the times here. Like, I know I might be saying this as an over-egged reaction to last weekend, but this feels like we all came into the start of this season, everyone thinking it was going to be the season of the premium defenders. It's not. It's not the season of the premium defenders. This is the season of the strikers are making a comeback. And really the money, as it seems, the points seem to really be in the midfield. Liverpool being so terrible has kind of thrown things a little bit with Trent and Salah underperforming. And it's kind of like throwing everything. So we need to adapt as appropriate, really. I don't like the current midfield I'm looking at right now. We could improve it, you know, if with a transfer. It's why, you know, Sinisterra, you know, I would look, might as well throw it out. Let's get into it, Tristan. I would immediately suggest potential for Rodrigo. You know, off the bat right now. I watched that game on Sunday and I thought Rodrigo looked great for Leeds and he's playing up front. And I think he's something to think about.
You still don't fancy Trossard?
It's not that I don't fancy him. I just think from a price perspective, Rodrigo's a good price. And his numbers are excellent. Trossard is good too. He's got a decent fixtures there. No, remember again, we're going to game week 16 here. It's important to note that. We're going to game week 16 and then we're stopping. So if you look at those games that Trossard's got, to be fair, I'm not too worried about the fixtures because he's banged in a hat-trick at Anfield. So
yeah, he's obviously been freed up a bit under De Zerbi. Okay, I'm going off one game there, but we knew that he was an attacking manager from Sassuolo. Yeah. And that he definitely a different style to Potter, and that plays. I mean, Trossard was playing as a wing back and things like that for Potter, whereas now he seems quite integral to their attack. And early in the season, it was, you know, Gross and McAllister picking up points, but look, the early evidence is that he's the guy, and he's always had talent. You know, he's always been a sort of on the cusp of FPL teams, but this could be the year that he breaks into the template. But okay, I see what you say about Rodrigo. You know. Is he up to speed? You say he looked good. To be fair, I didn't watch the game.
He looked good. He looked like a player that had scored 4 goals in 3 games before getting injured. He looked like a player that scored 4 goals in 3 games before getting injured. I will say, though, Leeds on... Well, now Sinisterra is suspended. I think Rodrigo will keep his place, but Bamford is back. So it really depends on how Jesse Marsch values him. I think Jesse Marsch values him well. I think he fits in their team better. Jesse Marsch likes quick, speedy attacking players that like interloping with each other, like Sinisterra, Aronson, etc.
So I think what will probably happen this game is that Bamford will go straight in up top, and Rodrigo goes behind him like he sort of used to last season.
Yeah, that's what I think, and Aronson will move out wide.
Yeah, but what happens when Sinisterra comes back is my concern. I mean, I know some Leeds fans have said, even when Rodrigo was in form, that their first choice 11, when they're all there, they're not sure Rodrigo's in it. And now it's hard to imagine that after his start to the season, but Marsch does really like his new signings there. And
I think Marsch likes players he trusts, and Marsch has rarely got to use Bamford, whereas Marsch has seen a lot of Rodrigo, and I think likes him. I think he likes the way he plays because Rodrigo's movement, etc. He's a name I'm throwing in. We won't get anyone better than him for less than 6.3. I will say that. No, I mean, I'm thinking right now of anyone less than 6.3, and I'm going to be honest, I can't really think of one. But Rashford maybe is around the same price as Sinisterra. It's worth considering if you want to have a look at Rashford's fixtures. He came off the bench in the Europa League and got 2 goals and an assist to save United.
And also, I don't mind that. You did talk about it last week a bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, while we're talking Man United, I also think right now we could have also consider affording Anthony as well. He scored 2 goals in 2 games, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think
2 goals into his 2 starts.
Yeah. Okay. You can now.
Yeah. So exact money. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, Anthony's kind of a strange one. Absolutely, see Adam. It's an absolute fair call. I remember when Anthony signed for United, because we know he looked really good in the Champions League, didn't he, for Ajax? And we were like, if he's going to be like that for United, he'll do well. I remember looking at Anthony's numbers, his actual figures for Ajax when he signed for United, and they weren't actually that impressive in terms of goals and assists. I was thinking, I'm sure he scored more goals than this. He looks really good. He might be someone that maybe flies under the radar a little bit. and someone that we could take advantage of.
Maybe he's one of those players that sort of performs really well in the Champions League, but when you look at his domestic, like you said, we remember him last year getting loads of assists for Haller and things like that for Ajax.
Yeah.
But if you say he wasn't replicating that in the Eredivisie, then difficult. I mean, he scored a worldie, didn't he?
Yeah, it was brilliant. He feels like he's one of those players that suits the Prem as well. Prem players, those left footers on the right that cut inside and smash them in. He just always seemed to do well in the Premier League. I get Arjen Robben vibes from him. It's just, and he does look a good player. He looks a really good player. And I feel like, because Man United aren't the force they once were, opposition are like giving them more space, etc., which suits a player like Anthony. He's absolutely suited to, being given space out wide to run at them. My worry is he's got Everton away next game, and Everton are very much a bus parking team, defensive minded, keep clean sheets and go from there.
Yeah,
it's one of the games where United would fold normally.
Everton have conceded the fewest goals in the league this season, which is pretty surprising. But they have. So my argument against Anthony is that we've got exact money for him, but that leaves nothing in the bank. And the plan, one of our plans was in game week 12 to move De Bruyne to Salah and to keep that money for him. If we do that, then we suddenly can't do that move. We'll probably have to go to Son instead, which we might do. I mean, Salah's not setting the world alight. He has scored. He just scored against Rangers, didn't he?
This comes to my next question again to the two Liverpool fans. Liverpool switched formation in the Champions League. They went to a 4-2-3-1, Klopp's old Dortmund formation, when Lewandowski was up front and Goetze was at the 10. And they had, who did they have out wide, like Royce and Kagawa, etc. How did Salah play in that formation? Was he as attacking as you would expect him to be? Did he look like he could score goals?
I mean, UEFA gave him player of the match, didn't they? He's still not, at it like he has been, like we've seen before. Everything he touches turns to gold. We've also seen, Liverpool have played that formation on the odd occasion last couple of years when he tried to fit all four in. Hasn't previously worked that well. I think he's done it out of poor form. The 4-3-3 hasn't been operating well lately.
But does he get into proper attacking positions, or is he shunted out wide again?
No, he was cutting in. He was coming in. It was more that as a team we're still not operating well, and he's not getting as much service as perhaps he used to. Okay. Hopefully that will change. I don't know whether Klopp will do the 4-2-3-1. Continue in the Premier League. We'll see. Rangers are a different opponent to most Premier League outfits, aren't they? So, we don't need to really worry about that for another 2 game weeks. But when we get to game week 12, that was something we discussed last week, keeping that extra cash to be able to do that move.
Okay.
And the captaincy options are going to be big that week because we've got no Man City or Arsenal. It's going to be Salah or probably Son or Kane, isn't it? So I think we need definitely be able to bring a big hitter in.
All right. So let's make a call on the midfield there. Let's make a call on who you would want. Who would be your number one choice?
Almiron, 5.1 million. But yeah, fixtures aren't great. He's not historically been a good FPL asset.
He's not historically been a good FPL asset. Not consistently.
He's also not prone to streaking either. He has like an incredible game every quarter.
Yeah.
We'll say that was goal of the unbelievable goal. It's not something you can replicate, is it? It's not it was a low percentage goal, so that's not really what you want to see. So I think you've almost taught me into Rashford actually, which is surprising, but he's I'm fairly sure he's frustrated us in the past. He's definitely frustrated me.
Of course he is. I had him. I've said this. I had him in my personal team. I had him in our team. Team TSZ. 2 weeks, did nothing. We got rid of him, and he's gone and smashed it since. He was injured. He came back from the international break a little injured. That's why he's not played. But he's one of those, Rashford. He's so frustrating. He really is. He's one of those. He'll be infuriating. But his numbers are nice. His numbers are nice, and he's so cheap.
Yeah, so I came into this call thinking
Trossard, and nothing's going to persuade you otherwise.
Well, no, it was just my initial thought. I hadn't really considered Rodrigo yet because he's only had 1 game back, but you obviously thought he played well. I'm not convinced on Leeds personally, but Rashford, yeah, they're not the best fixtures, are they? Because
They're not the
Newcastle's
best
tough,
fixtures.
Tottenham, Chelsea. Probably the fixtures put me off him now. Looking at that,
Okay.
because we've not got all that many until 16, and it's got to be a better run, I think. So probably Trossard or Rodrigo. Maybe Adam has the deciding call there.
Adam, what are you thinking? Trossard? Because you keep having to go us for steering you from other players. So let's put the power in your hands, and you can make a decision here.
Well, if it was my team on its own, I am tempted to just leave Sinistera there now, seeing as we've done that. I wouldn't go on Trossard now just because I'm a bit superstitious.
Yeah,
I just feel like
horse was bolted.
Yeah, so I would actually consider ditching Mitrovic for maybe a week or two, and I would consider Callum Wilson.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, how much is Callum Wilson? That is the question. How much is Callum Wilson?
6.9 or 7.1.
Tell you 7.2, I think he is.
Have a look. That's
No,
not. I was getting very excited for about half a second there. 7.2. So 4 million puts in the stare of Bactrist. So it's 6.5. So can we afford to lose 0.4 million, Tristan? Still have enough to do salary? Because I'm assuming Salah has been dropping like a.
Yeah. So we've got 0.6 in the bank. That's 12.9. Salah is 12.8. So yeah, we could.
Just
It's close. There's not much wiggle room there.
De Bruyne is going to keep rising, though. You imagine, I can see De Bruyne rising again, like in the near future.
I was reading today that Wilson's got the highest goals per minute ratio in the league when he plays.
He's always been quite good to me, Wilson. I know he's been good to you as well, Adam, hasn't he?
I like Wilson. So he was. If Mitrovic was definitely out for maybe a couple of weeks, then that's who I would avoid for my own team. So he's got Brentford, then United, Everton, Tottenham. Again, not the best, not the worst. Isak's not back yet, but when he does come back, is that competition for his place?
I think Isak plays off him if they're in the same team.
Probably, but who misses out then? I mean, like when Sim-Maxon is back, which again might be this weekend.
Oh yeah, so my other I wouldn't do this, but it'd be quite a good differential to go Scamacca as well. He scored 2 goals in 2 games now.
Yeah, he's scored.
And he's playing Fulham, who do let them in.
They do let them in.
Yeah, he looks the part, I think, Scamacca.
You can't guarantee he's going to play, though, can you?
No, well, he scored yesterday, and he scored.
I know he did, but have a look at his minutes, Tristan. You just can't.
It's Antonio, isn't it? It's Antonio.
Yeah.
He's got 2 good fixtures as well, and Antonio's not doing anything.
No, Antonio. He shouldn't really be in the team.
That's frustrating because that's a really good run. That's a great run of games. That
Liverpool away is not a clean sheet right now, is it? So that's not a 5.
I remember West Ham though. You got to remember West Ham have got another Europa game on Thursday after that.
Well, there is that.
Really frustrating, actually. That's a shame because those are a really nice run set of 4. That really nice set of 4. It's a shame.
So let me just quickly go back to. So Mitrovic is only going to miss 1 game, if that. He might be back this weekend. No, that's not what I do. Information. So that's the problem, right?
Those are some good fixtures, aren't they? Yeah. There's some good fixtures.
We sell him for West Ham, and he got Bournemouth, Villa, Leeds. And he's highly owned. He could really damage us, couldn't he?
Yeah.
So.
Well, we could have the ultimate gamble and not pick anyone.
Yeah,
go with Andreas. Go with Andreas in midfield against West Ham. And then what if you get rid of Mitrovic's thing? You've got James, Cancelo, Trippier. You've got Andreas, De Bruyne, and Mads, and then we go 3-4-3. The only problem is if Mitrovic doesn't play, then we're looking at either Johnny against Chelsea away. Or we've got Neco Williams against. I'm not even sure he's against.
Not too bad. He got Villa at home.
Villa at home. My worry is whether he's going to start because he had apparently. I didn't watch the Leicester game, but apparently had a bit of a shocker, and Serge Aurier came on and did quite well.
Yeah, I thought.
But I'm a little concerned about that. I'm a little concerned about him and his starting potential. That's something I'm not too bothered in terms of him being in the team because he's £4 million or whatever it was, but. In terms of this week, I'm a bit concerned.
So if we do that, it's basically Andres Pereira versus whoever we bring in. So
do we think Andres Pereira will get a pie playing West Ham away, will get higher score than Trossard playing Tottenham at home, or Rodrigo playing Brentford? Who were Leeds playing? Well, Leeds weren't playing Brentford. Who were Leeds playing?
Forgetting. They're playing Palace.
Palace away. That's a tough one as well.
Or Rashford, I suppose.
Or Rashford against Everton away. Yeah.
I feel like Everton will.
Oh, we could get good. No, we can't because we've
now.
got 3-Man City already. I apologise.
I think I'd do Rashford, honestly. I think I would. But it looks like none of us are coming to any agreement here. So this is
Adam, what do you think? Midfielder. If you had to pick a midfielder, who would you pick? Honestly, would you stick with Sinisterra? I can let you stick with Sinisterra. Would you go? Who do you think? Do you go Andreas? Would you go with Rodrigo? Would you go with Trossard?
I don't know if I'm misremembering Trossard scoring against Tottenham before. But
you'll make me do my research.
Do your research.
Make me sound stupid.
I think he got like a brace against them last year or something. It might have been Arsenal, though. I don't know. I don't know with Rashford, because obviously he's another one who will get 20 points every 10 games when he's fit. But I don't know if he's a constant threat.
He's a frustrating one, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not Rashford's biggest fan either. I have to say I'm not.
I think I'd go Trossard over Rashford, even though I wouldn't now because we've missed a boat. But if we're picking between those two, what was the third option? Or Rodrigo. Well, Rodrigo did look good last week, but we don't know how many minutes he'll get. We don't. I mean, Palace isn't wonderfully easy.
I'm going to put it out there. I'm not too worried about Rodrigo's minutes. I'm going to put it out there. He started every game last time. He did well. He scored goals. He did everything he was asked. I'm genuinely not too worried about his minutes. Now, I've been burnt on this before. Cough, cough, Mahrez, Champions League, UCL Fantasy. So for anyone who plays that. So you're right, by the way. Trossard scored in Brighton's 1-0 win against Tottenham last season. Adam, that was in April. Hey, I didn't watch that game. You will have seen Trossard's hat-trick. If he looked good.
He did look good. And also, Spurs were naff midweek as well, and they've been naff for a bit.
Yeah, they're not in a good place at the moment.
No.
So, lost to London derby, rubbish against Frankfurt, and then they really need to win that game against Frankfurt, the following fixture on Wednesday. So could they take their eye off the ball here? Potentially.
I don't want to take responsibility when we get this decision wrong. So make a decision, Adam.
I would say Trossard over Rashford.
Okay, well, fine.
That's an angry fine.
No, because that was Trossard was my initial choice, wasn't it? I was getting annoyed because I.
Excellent. So you and Adam have agreed to it. Excellent.
Even though for the benefit of the tape, we're not doing this. We're not following the hat trick. It's of the options we have here. I still think he's better than the options we had.
Yeah. I am worried about we've gone from the horse has left the stable. I am worried about that. The train has left the platform.
If we had both players for the next 4 games, I think Trossard would outscore Rashford.
Yeah, he's not going to score a hat-trick every game. We're not suggesting that, but if we're saying he's only going to have one good game, then that's a bit harsh. I'm sure he can hopefully follow it up with
Rodrigo's going to score twice against Palace.
I'll be happy.
I'm going to let you know about it. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's go with that. Let's make the change.
Right. Okay. So let's put him in for Andreas, and then save it. Haaland captain. No debate there.
Who's our vice? Madison. Get the vice on De Bruyne or Maddison. Probably De Bruyne because I put it on De Bruyne, Tristan, because he didn't play on Wednesday against Copenhagen.
Yeah,
De Bruyne. I think he'll play.
My superstition about.
I know you don't like captaining. Yeah, putting it on the same. I know.
But there's no hints that Man City game is going to be off for any reason whatsoever. So,
right, I was reading about a big thunderstorm in Manchester.
Well, I mean, it has been horrendous weather today, but yeah,
I think it's nice tomorrow. I think it's nice tomorrow. Okay, let's go with that then. Well, I'm happy with that. It'd be nice if Reece James did something in the Premier League for a change.
Yeah. Goal and assist, clean sheet against Milan. He's got to be able to do something against Wolves. Overall rank, by the way, 124,000. So we're getting back to where we want to be.
We're doing well. At some point, it's difficult because at some point we might have to change a captain to try and like make proper big gains, but it's difficult to do, really, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you get it wrong, then that's
if we get it wrong, as I did last weekend, we'll go down and rank by a few 100,000. And I'm not exaggerating here. It will be a few 100,000 if Haaland got the double figure haul and we didn't captain him.
I don't know how you're ever gonna, unless his form dies, how you're ever gonna persuade me not to captain him. But
I know.
Obviously, game week 12, he is not going to be an option, so that'll be an interesting week. That's a week.
It's difficult, the game at the moment. The templates, it's templated. It's hard when you got a template captain to make gains.
It is, but there's so many. You've got like Bowen, you've got obviously Madison.
I really like Bowen, and I would like us to get Bowen in. He's got good fixtures, so I would love us to get Bowen in. It's just flipping difficult because there's like no one. Can you check what West Ham's fixture is on game week 12, please?
We got quite nice.
It's good. I think.
Southampton,
Liverpool away. That's a good fixture. That's a good fixture.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be too worried about that.
It isn't the worst, is it?
Well, it's I like Bowen. I think he's got a good. We just said Samaka set 4. He's got like Fulham at home, Bournemouth at home. He said it's too late now. We've made a transfer. If you want to take a hit, but I do like Bowen. I'm a big fan of his. He's just he's in that frustrating price bracket where you just can't afford him really without having to sell a premium.
It's him or Madison, isn't it, right now?
Yeah.
That price.
Yeah, if it wasn't like game week 12, we could probably look at dropping, one of our third striker to a 4.5 and then upgrading Pereira or however you do it. Probably the Trossard position. I wouldn't have
even been upset with dropping the Zaha for Bowen because Zaha is frustratingly inconsistent. And Bowen has proven himself as a great asset, but
let's see how it plays out. I mean, this is just very good, isn't it? So
yeah, of course it is. It's frustrating with him previous, but like James, for example. I'm not sure this is about the premium defenders. If Reece James fails again, we could get 1.5 million by getting in a 4.5 defender, and then we've got money to upgrade someone. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day. Let's see what he can do against the unable to score Wolves team.
Managerless Wolves. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Nice one. We'll good luck to Team TSZ.
Good luck to everyone. To those watching your teams. Fingers crossed for some green arrows for all.
All right. See you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.